Hello, we're at NAB 2019, and amongst the many things that we've discovered here this year is an amazing technology that's being used to change the whole process of production into something that is manageable in the context of all the new formats that are coming into play to create a really high-speed, multi-use environment for production that we've never had before. And I have the pleasure of speaking with Chad Knowles, who's the CEO of Open Drives. So Chad, thank you so much for taking some time to talk with us. I've been really intrigued at learning about what you're doing here.
Thanks for having us, Fred. Appreciate it.
If you could, give us a little idea of the genesis of how this all came about and where you started.
Yeah, so like a lot of tech companies, our company was born out of the problem that our founders were having. And so our founders are all in production IT roles. So one was the CTO of a visual effects company, one was the CTO of a post facility, the third one was the chief engineer for David Fincher's production company for many years. And what happened for those folks is, as we moved to higher resolution capture, 4K, 6K, and beyond, the technical requirements for things like storage and networking became a bottleneck for real-time workflows. They weren't able to accommodate the throughput and latency requirements to enable multiple users to work in real time in native high-resolution files. So many people turned to things like compression to solve that problem, and our team thought that there must be a better way to develop data storage and write software to remove those steps. And so that was the genesis of our company and why we were formed. And it's been an interesting process ever since.
So, and all this is related to the production process itself and how you manage all of those inputs and have everybody accessing what's coming in and using it in real time in a collaborative way to get to a finished product.
Exactly. So all of our customers are in the content creation business in one form or another. And the specific use cases where we are deployed range from editorial to visual effects to color correction to transcoding and kind of everything in between. And really what we're focusing on is enabling those different work groups to all work on the same source material in real time. So whereas in years past you would sometimes have data storage silos, you would have your editorial storage and then your visual effects storage and so forth. We wanted to eliminate that by having a single shared storage environment that was fast enough and had low enough latency that hundreds of different types of users could all work in real time at the same time without having to have any proxies.
So what are some of the films that you got started in?
Yeah, great question. All the Gone Girl, Deadpool, the Coen Brothers movies. So
top box office stuff.
Yeah. It's been really interesting. We come from this community, so it's always interesting for us to work on movies because we're effectively movie fans, and so it's been terrific to work with some A-list directors and terrific companies. We're currently working on the latest Terminator for James Cameron and Tim Miller. So it's been really great to be around those kinds of creative folks and be a part of that process.
Now, in just for production generally, we're talking about somehow having enough speed and capacity in this unit to avoid that compression step.
Right.
And that means getting it all into here at very high speed.
Correct.
And also being able to store it all.
Right.
So how do you do all that?
Right. So it's essentially in the software. At the end of the day, what differentiates Open Drives is the software that we've written, how we read and write data. So the proprietary file system that we developed writes data differently, reads data differently, and it's all designed and developed from the ground up for video workflows, right? So we're not a general purpose data storage product that is being used for content creation. Our entire product portfolio has been developed from the beginning to solve this problem, which is enabling people to work in real time.
Now, one of the big challenges that is being addressed here, and certainly with the movies you mentioned, we're now in an era of production with HDR, very high frame rates, and things that you have a high risk of losing the editorial or the director's intent through that traditional compression process. So in terms of preserving the quality to the nth degree, this has to be a game changer, because now we're getting into this isn't just about movies and HDR, it's about TV programs and everything else. And so there needs to be some way to get around these issues.
Right, exactly. And at the end of the day, that's you touched on something that's near and dear to our hearts. What we really deliver is more time, right? And the creatives that we speak to will all say that the more iterations you have, the more opportunities you have to refine a movie or a commercial or a television show, ultimately the better artistic quality you can deliver. And so by being able to get more done in less time, you increase artistic quality substantially, and that's really what we're all about.
Yeah, it's funny because there's so much concern about what happens after production with all of these things and preserving it at the end points.
Yep.
But you got to get to where it's done right at the production point before you worry about that. And from all I've seen, there's a whole lot of stuff that has to be resolved here for HDR to become a routine part of the production process. Yep. So it looks like this is going to really help in that direction.
Yeah, we think so. And we've been very fortunate to work with all 6 major motion picture studios, all of the broadcast networks, many advertising agencies, post-production facilities, visual effects houses, and watching those customers grow and find new and interesting ways to be creative, because we've removed technology as one of the barriers to that, has been really exciting for us, and we're excited to see where we go next and what our customers do with our technology from here.
Well, as a viewer, I'm hoping it works, because I just want to see a lot of HDR
yeah.
on TV.
Me too. And that's really one of the issues, right? So when we talk about why this is difficult, it's really about, resolution is one thing, right? You have, 2K, 4K, 6K, 8K and beyond. But then also, as you mentioned, right, high dynamic range, anytime you add more color to content, you're increasing the file size and making it more difficult to work with. And also frame rate, right? So 24 frames a second and 30 frames a second, now 60 frames a second, 120 frames a second. Each time those 3 things increases, it creates a real challenge for the technology providers. And so we agree, the bigger the palette of the creative, the better the content they're gonna have. And as a consumer of entertainment, I'm very excited to see what they come up with next.
Yeah, okay, well, we'll be looking forward to it.
Great.
Thanks so much.
Thank you very
Really
much. Appreciate being here.
Yeah.